Welcome to Spiritual Dessert Trews, episode 51. Russell Brand and other people. That's it. I've had it. I'm taking this off. My hair is stuck in my dress. Oh, man. It's impossible. My bracelet's even getting stuck. That's it. I'm taking things off. Look, I've got wounds. They're not wounds. I'm like a little kid. I have to ask my mother whether, did I run around in my diaper as a kid? I know I remember distinctly that there's little tiny, there was these little tight t-shirts for kids, for little girls, and it annoyed me to pieces to have something tight across my chest. And then also, what else annoyed me to pieces? Socks. Socks annoyed me to pieces because the back of the sock, when you go to bend your knee, that sensitive part of the knee was like being smashed. That's it. Yes, and goodbye. Oh, I gotta watch it. There's like some mirrors behind me. All right, we're still reading from A Story of a Soul. I've got my necklace. It tells me how far to go. All right, so there. We're talking about temptation. No, our Lord knew that I was far too weak to face temptation. Ooh, he knew that I would certainly have burned myself in the bewildering light of earthly things, and so he did not let it shine in my eyes. Where stronger souls find joy, but remain detached because they are faithful, I found out only misery. Oh. I can't take any credit for not getting entangled in this way. It was only because God had mercy on me and preserved me. Without his help, I might have fallen even lower than St. Mary Magdalene. Ah! Who's to say that was low? It's just a different way to be. I'm not defending it. His wonderful words to Simon, the Pharisee, to whom less is forgiven, he loveth less. What? Echoes so sweetly in my soul, for he's forgiven me much more than he forgave her. I can't really explain my feelings about this, but perhaps an example will give you an idea of what I mean. Suppose the son of a skillful doctor falls over a stone lying in this path and breaks a limb. His father hurries to help him and dresses his wound so skillfully that it heals completely. Naturally, he is quite right to love such a father and will be most grateful to him, but supposing that this doctor saw the dangerous stone, anticipated that his son would fall over it, and moved it out of the way when no one was looking, then his son would not know nothing of the danger from which his father's loving care had saved him, and so he would have no reason to show gratitude. He would love him less than if he had healed some serious wound. But if he did find out the truth, surely his love would be greater. I am that child, the object of Father's loving providence, who did not send his son to call the just, but the sinners. You cut me off again. This is crazy. I've learned to laugh. In the case of all frustrations or any other things, just laugh. It's much healthier. Or maybe get mad and then walk away and laugh. Going back to the little story, he would love him, the father's gratitude as far as healing the son if he had tripped over something and then move it out of the way. But he would love him less than if he had healed some serious wound. But if he did find out the truth, surely his love would be even greater. I am that child, the object of the Father's loving providence, who did not send his son to call the just but sinners. He wants me to love him because he's forgiven me. Not much, but everything. Did not wait for me to love him with a great love like Magdalene's, but made me see that he had loved me first with an infinite providence, so that now I may love him in return, even unto folly. Isn't that all love? You love unto folly. I've often heard it said in retreats and elsewhere that the innocent soul never loves God as much as a repentant one. And how I long to prove that that's not true. Now I've wandered so far away from my story that I do not worry up to take it up again. Neither do I. And then every time I get cut off, I keep talking. It's like, when the phone hangs up and you didn't realize that you were disconnected and you kept talking. Where did I leave off? Well, I was making my retreat for my second Holy Communion. I was overcome by scruples. What a martyrdom. It lasted about 2 years, and no one could possibly understand what I had to go through unless they'd gone through it themselves. Every single thought and even my most commonplace actions became a source of worry and anxiety. Worry! It's like the prayer for what you do not want. Don't make the prayer for what you do not want. Worry is not a good idea. It's like praying for what you do not want. Do not spend another ounce of energy with worry. Is that me in the background? Worry. So if you could see the naked back of me. During our holidays that year, we had a fortnight with our aunt at the seaside, and she always had been wonderfully good to us, like another mother. And now she thought of everything to keep us amused: donkey rides and all kinds of fun stuff. Some sky blue ribbon. She gave me a sky blue ribbon. And although I was 12 and a half, I was still childish enough to find extraordinary delight in tying my hair with it. Then I was overcome by so many scruples that I had to rush off. Oh no, to confession, because I thought this childish pleasure must have been a sin. I had one very useful experience while I was staying at Trews. My cousin Marie was always having headaches, and her mother, when she was having the awakening, used to make a great fuss over her and call her all sorts of nice names, but Marie took no notice and just went on crying. Oh, my poor head. I, too, used to have a headache nearly every day, though I had kept it to myself until one evening I thought I would follow Marie's example. I sat down in an armchair in a corner of the room and started crying. Soon my older cousin Jean, whom I was very fond of, made a fuss over me, and then my aunt came in and asked me why I was crying over, and Marie said, "Oh, my poor head." It seemed that complaining was not in my line, for no one would believe that I was crying because of a headache. Aunt did not make a fuss over me as she usually did, but treated me as if I was a grown-up, while Jean reproached me in a pained tone of voice, though very gently, I must admit, because she thought I was guilty of lack of simplicity and confidence in my aunt by hiding the real reason for my tears, convinced that this was some dreadful scruple. In the end, I gave it up. It got me nowhere, and I made up my mind I would not try to imitate others again. That fable about the donkey and the dog was brought home to me, and I was the donkey who had put his great hoof on the table because he wanted to be petted like a dog. And though, I was not beaten like the poor donkey, I was certainly punished as he deserved and cured forever of my desire to attract attention. The scruples I was telling you about ended by making me so ill that I had to leave for school when I was 13. After that, Father sent me to a governess several times a week to finish my education. She was a very good teacher, and I learned a lot from her. Well, at the same time, came into close contact with the world. I used to sit in her old-fashioned room with all my books and things around me while numerous visitors called. Hey, my friends were talking about going to a cloister, and they said that they stayed there for a while, and it was just sort of like a different way to be, and that way to be was that you were either alone, solitaire, or you were with your group. Kind of sounds like my yoga group. I'm either with awesome, amazing, enlightened, awakened people, or myself. The same. Yes. Is it vanity to like your own company? Or is it just self-love? That's what she talks about next. She said that she thought she was vain. One lady said that my hair is very beautiful, and another asked on her way out who the lovely young girl was. As I was not supposed to hear these remarks, they were all the more flattering, and the sense of pleasure that they gave me shows only too well how vain I was. I'm sorry for people who lose their souls. It is so easy to miss your way when the paths of the world seem so attractive. Of course, enlightened souls find the pleasure which the world offers mixed with bitterness, while the immense void of their desires cannot be filled by a moment's flattery. But, as I said before, if my heart had not been drawn toward God from its first awakening, and if the world had smiled on me from the very moment I had entered it, anything might have happened to me. And on that note, something will happen to you. Sleep. Pleasant dreams. Kiss, kiss.